Welcome everybody. Morpheus is in the house trying to get you to get to your financial independence a bit faster, a bit safer, a bit more predictable. The red pill is the dominant one. We want the truth. We want the the absolute understanding of trading by the book. This is something that we're going to be doing through multiple streams, live format, in my real account, with the best broker on the planet. That's Pocket Option. We're going to be dissecting this week. With the entire week, we're talking about technical analysis, because this week there's not really a lot of fundamental, right? The macros are not really something that was kind of exciting enough. High impact events are kind of wishy-washy in my opinion. But once again, next week we're certainly going to, kind of include some of those as well. Take a look at the Telegram channel. This is where the schedule is going to be posted. Maybe you will see something there that you might be especially interested in. Obviously, leaving comments after the videos are posted is something that's greatly appreciated. It gives guidance to me and my team to discuss something that is a bit more interesting to you. So, what did we do yesterday, right? Or actually, this entire week, we are talking about support and resistance and how, just how important that really is, right? So the first video that we discussed is something that, or rather, setting support resistance, the Fibonacci fan, the Fibonacci retracement, right? All of this was discussed. These are basically the points of interest when certain, maybe investors would be pushed to uh, to make a decision, right? To open the position, whether it's for a buy or a sell, right? To go long or short. Remember that this is done across different time intervals. This is something that's actually also kind of important to remember, right? So we've discussed the support resistance, the Fibonacci, the breakout strategy yesterday. And you know what? I gotta tell you that even though I love discussing this with you guys, and there's a reason why Morpheus is behind the mask. I'm actually revealing everything the way it is, without any kind of, I don't know, attention given to priority of a company, right? I did work for two brokers. I got multiple affiliate accounts, and essentially there's the reason why I'm behind the mask. I don't want to be blocking any of my incomes that are coming in from these videos from different platforms, and basically this is where, so there's not going to be a conflict of interest. And I think that being behind the mask, sometimes I'm not particularly I don't know, vigilant about some of the settings that I had. But basically yesterday you and I, we lost a little bit of money. We went, I don't know if we see, well, we see today's statistic, and I don't know, I'm back in the green. I'm actually, yesterday's losses are eradicated, and it's actually an important thing to understand that you, unfortunately, as a trader, you cannot avoid losing trades. This is something that's going to be part of this. And well, look, I just noticed my chats. Donald and Henry are my boys over here. Are in the house again for another exciting video where we trade live, we make money together. And actually, these guys, they contacted, and we're actually doing some one-on-one trading in our Telegram channel. You're able to do that as well. Talk to me directly, get more in-depth clarification without any hype. This is actually kind of important, you guys. Without any kind of pressure to do anything, I am able to actually clarify some of the questions right now. We're building a free course, kind of like a general overview of technical, fundamental, and like emotional control, money management. This is something that's going to be posted for free. So if you got some buddies who are interested in this and they're not quite up to your level, um, I'm certainly able to direct them there. This is something that's going to be there in the near future, probably like at the end of next week. We should have it there already. But nevertheless, you're also, very eager to answer any questions. Me and my team are here to help you once again understand and trade by the book. I mean, there's not really a book, because the thing is that everybody's opinion is just that, an opinion. At some later videos, I'll tell you different ways to trade, something that I would never be able to do myself personally. But as long as the trading strategy is based on logic, math, statistics, without luck, with proper emotional control, I can't say that, hey, 5 seconds is not something that anybody should ever trade. The hell with that opinion if you're actually making money with 5 second expirations. Right, so as long as it works, right, but these videos, these streams are really geared towards understanding how the world of trading is governed, right, by what kind of or essentially instruments, right, the price action. What is price action, right? It's actually, right, buying and selling, right? The supply and demand principles determine whether the price, the volatility, or how quickly the price can change, is also impacted by the buying and selling that is done by fear and greed, right? That moves the market, desire to make money and fear of losing it, right? And so this is kind of, where we understand that if, I'm giving you understanding of everything, but you might want to adjust some of these things for you specifically. As I mentioned, I have, I've talked to thousands of traders when I was working for the brokers, for two best brokers out there. I can share this experience with you as well. So there's not, kind of, it's an ugly saying, but there's not a one way to skin the cat. Actually, I don't really know why I even know this saying. But anyways, the point is that yeah, there's so many strategies in trading as there are traders in the world, right? Or investors, something the word that I prefer a bit more. All right, so this entire week, we're kind of as I mentioned, still we're bouncing for back and forth, and we're kind of solidifying the support and resistance levels, right? So we talked about support and resistance. Okay, so these in graphical tools. I don't know. I think that there we go. This is where I was trading a little bit more aggressively to make up some of the losses yet that I've incurred with you guys yesterday. But we have like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 point contact, and that's awesome. Once again, anytime that there is a bounce away, right, that kind of means that there's a higher chance that it's going to continue to bounce away. There was a 1, 2, 3, right on the fourth it broke through, so it kind of went out, and this resistance level now became kind of like a support, after which it bounced up and went even higher. And anyway, so we are able to do this manually. We are able to do, to set Fibonacci's, right, like Fibonacci fan. All right, then we can, I don't know, maybe we can put this, hold on, there we go. We can put this here, and we can move this to kind of get an understanding where, and look, right, it's kind of like nice and beautiful. We got like a 1 right here, 2, 3, 4, 5, there we go, 6, oh my God. And once it broke through, look, this one is actually kind of, I don't know, as ideal as they come. Right, so at this level right here, we have a shaft that, we discussed as a leading indicator that tells if there is going to be a trend reversal, and it says, yep, it's definitely time. Parabolic is at the top, right, and there's a breakout strategy. This is what we discussed yesterday, and actually, I think that we would have made money yesterday as well if it wasn't for perhaps a bit limited. I might, I got some masks over there that I think I'm going to be switching to in the following videos. Because this one sometimes gets foggy and I'm not always uh, vigilant. Actually, my wife says all the time that, I can't talk and, walk at the same time, because when I'm so engrossed in what we're doing, sometimes I forget to actually, if I done something physically in terms of changing the time for expiration, and I miss these crucial moments. But as you can see, I mean, we're back in the green. I kind of have to do a little more aggressive trading because I can't let you guys down. This is all based on logic, facts, statistics, but sometimes you kind of have to put on your big boy pants and, trust your knowledge. And that's essentially what we did. So, Anyways, as you can see, we got some sort of support that's been broken through. Right, there we go, and then it's used the next level, right, of Fibonacci fan. You can kind of see there was a false breakout here. It kind of came out, came back in, but we had like a 1. We have a 2 in the second and broke through. This was a resistance level then. Versus, so this is something that, once again, all of these instruments are here to give you an advantage, and essentially we're going to continue to do that today for today's video. So if you guys come across this stream, ask questions. I mean, have you ever thought about making part-time income or maybe even full-time income just sitting at home or sitting from anywhere in the world? As long as you got like decent internet connection, that's pretty much it. I mean, pocket option, right? It's options trading, but it's on the go. It's in your pocket. You're able to do some of these strategies on the phone quite effectively. Yes, I got 2 big screens over here, or, my laptop, my big screen. I'm able to kind of maybe zoom in, do technical analysis a little bit more in depth. But the idea is, once again, that this is something that you can do on the go from anywhere in the world, which is really, really cool. So something that attracted me to this is actually my health. I am no longer able to do any kind of physical labor, and to way to provide for my family, it's just kind of hang out with my kid in the morning, give her some of her baby food, and then I can come back here. I can do some technical analysis, trade, and I'll essentially get my daily goal. All right, and anyways, all right. So I love the flexibility that this offers me. I can do this when I want. If I don't want to do this, I can go to sleep. I can do it later, or I don't have to do it at all today or for the next week, and whatever. So this is where I absolutely love the flexibility that this gives. In my opinion, actually, the I don't know. People are always asking, maybe, kind of like a deep personal question: what is happiness, right? So I think that happiness is having a choice, right? Choice to work or to rest, or choice to work with something that you're passionate about. You know what? I don't know. When I was little, I wanted I wanted to be an astronaut. Right, and right up until I was very passionate about that. Yeah, for a kid, everybody was very surprised just how passionate I was. Right up until I learned that there's no water in space, and on a space station you would have to, I don't know, drink processed urine. I was like, nope, that's not for me. But anyways, I love cars. Actually, I don't know if anybody might come across right now this stream. I absolutely love vehicles. I used to tune cars in America. I was part of a car club. Japanese, something that I would prefer, Japanese tuners. So I had an Evolution there, Mitsubishi Lancer. I had an STI in there, and an RX-8 with the 2.0 triple rotary swapped motor in there with the medium-sized turbo, but it was putting out like 800 horsepower, so it was absolutely monster, and absolutely loved this. So this is, once again, if I had a choice back then, because then I had to, I was everything, from a gymnastics instructor to dental technician, right? So I did some odd jobs there as well. And I always worked for my money, kind of investing very safely into certain stocks, into certain banks, investment banks. Uh, but I wish that I found out about this a little bit sooner. And, while I was yammering like 5 minutes ago, I should have taken a position here when it broke out. So, see, breakout strategy in effect. Today we're kind of, maybe seeing if we can take advantage of bounce backs. And actually, you know what? Remember, I think last Friday I talked to you guys about certain indicators that are trending versus non-trending, right? So we got leading indicators that, could show you a trend reversal, like shaft or demarker. But we also have fractal. Notice fractal kind of also, it's a delayed indicator, right? On this candle right here, this signal came up, right? So this signal is for a buy. And I think that, if I wasn't yammering, this is exactly what my wife is talking about. Um, if I wasn't so excitable about, sharing this information with you guys, I might have just been, I don't know, shut my mouth and kind of keep an eye out. I would have taken advantage of it here. Now, right now, though, I think that it could, still bounce back. Now, as I mentioned, fractal, it's a delayed indicator, and you notice that when we establish a level of resistance, which this one is nullified now because it was one, kind of a two, three, four, or we can say like three, but on the fourth, or, we can say on the fourth or fifth, it finally broke through. That's it. This one is no longer valid. So this asset has been falling wait, with this asset, euro dollar OTC has been falling since 3 o'clock. Right, since 3 o'clock, it's been establishing new highest lows. Right, there it is. And it finally broke through. So now we have an upward channel, and I would actually wait until maybe another minute or two until we test this period or this level for what I would say a third time. So I'm hoping that it's going to touch and it's going to bounce again. And once again, we need to kind of keep an eye out on the other levels where the asset has been bouncing. Like, for example, right, we can set a horizontal line right about here. Right, as I mentioned, it's not something like an exact science. It doesn't mean that if it didn't touch the body, then it's nullified. But we can see this level here, here, right, a level of kind of interest. It broke through, kind of came, it sawed this level. The last time it came close, bounced away. So there it is. There's the bounce. Again, I keep yammering. All right, but you know what? Let's take a position. I usually trade till the end of the minute, till the end of the candle. Sometimes this is where you do it with the flag. I love this. This specific option for me is probably one of the best reasons to actually be with pocket option, other the fact that they pay out, right? They pay out their profits without, kind of creating some sort of weird situation around this. Oh, I lost. Okay, let's go to the next minute, and I still think it's going to go. It should go up, but you know what? After this, from here, from shaft, it's actually also a really good signal between parabolic between shaft that there is a reversal to this particular movement. So there we have 1, 2, 3 point contact. If it actually breaks through right now, we could. There we go. It is actually breaking through, and I'm actually going to wait a little bit more till the end of this candle. There we go. Till the end of. I'm going to lose this $20, and we're going to go for an aggressive multiplier of 2. Because I do believe that it should go down further. Let's see if it's going to be a breakout. And, well, it does look like it would be. All right, so then we're going to need to readjust our support and resistance levels. Oh, nope, I didn't. Right, there we go. So we're going to need to readjust our support and resistance levels to include this. All right, so let's remove this so it doesn't clutter the eye. This one right here, it's no longer valid, right, because we understand that it's been breached. And let's see if we can set up several other 2 point contacts, right? So we have a possible, well, I don't know, this is close, but it's not really, not like a close but no cigar, as we would say. So we would see maybe a 2 point contact here, all right, where it's breaking out. If it does go further down, which I believe that it could based on the signal, so parabolic, notice fractal on this candle. Fractal came up, there we go, a sell signal. Parabolic switched to the top, so we do have a high probability. CCI is showing a recline, but this shaft it did not really round out yet. All right, so there we go. We made our money. Going back to $10, and you know what? Next minute, and I think that I'm going to try to ride this pony. Right, ride this train a little bit further down. I still think that it has got potential, and the next actual next level, in my opinion, I don't know if you guys would agree, is somewhere probably here. All right, let's see. So it was around this level here, around this level here. So if it does come down, maybe it's gonna test it here, right? It not really. This not really has to do with like support and resistance in terms of 3 point contact, but we do want to kind of take a look in the back and see if there was, right? If there was a kind of like a level of interest where the asset was sawing a particular level. So it came close, it retraced, kind of broke through without stopping here. Here there was a bit of a resistance. We could actually put a support level at 1, 2, maybe kind of 3 over here before it breached, right? So, here it kind of sawed at this level as well. I don't know. I think I would probably wait for a bit of a retracement right now because of several candles. So we have 1, 2. It kind of touched and bounced away on this green candle, right? But in the next one, it kind of broke through. So we have pressure. We have pressure from the bulls, or rather, I'm sorry, the bears kind of took the initiative, and this upward movement is no longer upward. However, CE's shaft is still very optimistic in terms of that it's going to go higher. Or rather, it still says that it's still in an upward trend, even though for like past 5 minutes we see that it's pretty decent red candles. All right, so this is once again we're just continuing live trading. Henry and Donald are in the house, but these guys are like already my bros. We started out here as I don't know, as Morpheus and Neo, and now they're doing trading with me in Telegram channel. As I mentioned, this is not where you just go and you talk to a bot. You talk to me. You can talk to me about my RX-8. And what kind of ungodly noise it was making when it was accelerating, how many Ferraris and Lamborghinis I've beaten with it, or we can talk about, the matter at hand, essentially financial independence, something that's going to give you an advantage. Okay, now this is kind of interesting. See, SHAF is rounding out. Parabolic is still on top. CCI, though, is showing upward movement in regards to, retracing, right, this green candle. But Shafa says that it's going to go down. Parabolic says it's going to go down. And at the moment, we have kind of like a 2-point contact, 1, 2 right here, and a 2-point contact for resistance, but also a 2-point contact here for a support. There's a bounce away. Though Shaf is showing, you know what? I'm actually going to trust Parabolic and Shaf on this one. I'm probably going to open a position for the next 40 seconds to see if it should go back. It should go back down. Very rarely does it do something like this. It says, buy. It goes through and then reverses, right? These kind of situations don't happen very often. But it is a possibility, though. In this case right here, it says buy. See, Parabolic was saying that as well, right? But then they also kind of switched back with them for a couple of candles. So let's move the next time period because we got like 9 seconds. I could lose this 20, and I'm still gonna go for a sell. I still think it's going to go down, but if the 20 doesn't go in, the 60 is gonna have to be a bit later. All right, so we have a 2-point contact here. We have a 2-point contact here. It's coming to a squeeze, right? And we talked about the pinching moves. That this is kind of like bringing a spring, coiling it. But you know what? We also could, do a bit different 2-point contact as well to see, there is a bit of bearish possibility, right about here. And let's wait a second. Where am I? Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna lose this $20. I'm gonna wait a little bit. And I want to also point out possible channel right here, right? Also a pinching move. So we got a 1, 2, 1, 2. There we go. We lost this. Or a 60. I'm gonna take it for the next one. Well, yeah, didn't really go through with the. This is what I'm saying. I'm missing these critical points, but man, it's so close to parabolic that I'm thinking that it actually could bounce through. So we could have kind of a weak one, but we got a 1, a 2, and on the third one, it's breaking out. There it is. All right, so it is going higher. And actually, yeah, so next one, if I lose this one, I'm thinking that it's going to go higher a little bit more, but we lost $90. So when you multiply it by multiplier of 2, and I don't know why, let's not multiply it by 2, let's multiply it by 1.5. 90 times 1.5, so 90 plus 6 is like 135, right? Let's round it up to 140. right, just to get our money back. All right, so it could, because we got one, two, three, four green candle. All right, so we made our money. There we go. Parabolic switched. Shaft kind of broke through, but then it immediately went up. So once again, we kind of I have an understanding that it should continue to go up. Though notice the size of the candle. So this one was kind of big if you include the wick. This one was all body, but it was probably a little bit smaller than this one. Smaller, smaller, smallest, right? So this is also kind of something that you will need to be aware of. How much interest is in that particular time period, right? So if it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, it means that the amount of people trading is becoming, or buying, in this case, is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. And, well, this is something that you need to keep in mind. Now, notice, one, two, kind of a three. We're approaching on the fourth point contact with an upward trend just starting. So once again, going to the next minute, we could continue, right? If it breaks out, what is the the higher probability that it's going to continue? CCI is kind of approaching the top here. It says that, hey, it's got decent potential to continue to give you. And usually, the signal comes when it touches the positive 100. Shaft is saying that it's going up as well. Parabolic is on the bottom, and we have a breakout strategy. Here's actually, it's kind of like a really alignment of several factors that would give us an idea that, yes, it should continue to go up. But it's never 100% guarantee, which means you cannot invest something staggering. Why didn't I invest $1,000 in here? Because that would be stupid. Just because somebody would be scared, and I don't know, dump a whole bunch of money for selling, and it doesn't matter that the technical analysis says. Reason why we're trading in OTC most of the time, unless there's a video about the CPI, PPI, PMI, the macro statistics, is because this is influenced by pocket option traders. The buying and selling, the shifting of this balance, the giving value or taking away based on supply and demand principles is done by, I don't know, a couple of million people on pocket option live daily trading. I think they got like 4 million traders on the daily or active traders. There's like 7 million accounts, but daily active traders, there's a couple of million. These are the guys that are pushing this asset up and down. When there's a breakout, remember we're looking at 1 minute candles. This is actually something significant. We're actually going to talk about time intervals and everything a little later down the road, because there are strategies that revolve around that as well. But the 1 minute is not something critical. Right, so it's not long. It's not something that's going to impact the market, for like days or something, right? People that trade this short, right, with such short intervals, these are the people that take the money very quickly. They, make money, they take it out, and that's it. Kind of like what, essentially what I do as well. Anyways, and this is something that I need you guys to understand, that the breakout strategy, what we're looking on the chart right now is about 3 hours worth of information, right? So if we count the amount of candles, there's going to be about 180 of them here, right? So about 3 hours worth, and it's not something that paints the whole picture. We trade within very micro movements, right, with 1 minute candles, right? So if we take right here, we were experiencing, right, since the start of our trading, right, the start of the stream, about 1600 GMT plus 3, we see an upward movement, but we see an upward movement with retracements, right? And this is something that we need to be aware of. At some point, I've explained this before. Somebody that opened the position here for 3 minutes, here the position closed. All right, this is because it's an OTC, because it's on our platform, the pocket option. This is the expiration usually that's being set for that for that period of time. I am able to set it for 3 minutes into the future, and not 30 seconds. So for 3 minutes, I could have opened the position here and said, hey, 3 minutes. When I open the position, I buy. When it closes, it's considered a sell. It affects the supply and demand principles. All right, so there was a move, there was a retracement, there was a move, there was a retracement, there was a move, retracement, a higher high, right? And it kind of went up to, certain other levels of interest that were there before. And you can see that, hey, maybe there was a retracement and a continuation. So right now on this candle, we have a retracement from fractal. And I do believe actually that it's almost like an early signal for a trend reversal. I mean, look, we actually had crazy amount of green candles in a row, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This isn't something. It's not something that often happens, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's, at least a small one, but it's still there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, on the eighth one, there was a retracement, kind of like the way it is here. So, oh, by the way, great, essentially, example of there was a fractal here on this candle. There was a sell signal indicating that the next candle could be red. All right, so you should take a signal, but then as the acid is being pushed up, it erased, right? It nullified, and that's because it's a lagging indicator. It comes up when the candle closes based on some of the previous results, the pattern. But the market is moved by us. It's not moved by a pattern. It's moved by us. And somebody, a group of people right now in Euro Dollar OTC on pocket option started to buy. And the signal disappeared because it said that, hey, previous information is no longer, it's not as uh, valid, perhaps, right? It's not valid. That pattern is broken because at this moment something different was happening. That's why it was removed. But this movement is actually very quick, very aggressive. We're talking about in 1620, right, in 20 minutes, and right now it's 1630. So in 11 minutes, 11 green candles, it came up, and the pip movement, the pip value, right, 1286 to approximately 1308, right? So how many pips is that? Right, so we got, to make it 1386, that's 14 pips, right? 14 pips, and it went up to 14 plus 8. Yeah? Quick math, anybody. 14 plus 8. 22 pips. 22 pips in euro dollar. A pip is roughly equaling about $9-10. So 20 pips, it's like around $200. Somebody said, hey, that's enough for me. I'm probably going to be cashing out my $200 with a standard lot with about 500. Well, the leverage really doesn't matter here because that just kind of, it's a correlation between your investment or how much money you have to put up to open a standard lot. But anyway, so I do believe that it actually will be going back. There should be a retracement, and notice that this high is also kind of hidden across the previous levels here. All right, so if we take, I don't know, let's take this line right here. It's not horizontal, but there we go. If we kind of hit it up here, there it is. There's a clean indication that it was here at some point. Ooh, and you know what? I see a really good reversed head and shoulder pattern. Oh man, I can't believe I missed that. You and I, we are going to do this. Of course, we're going to do this at some point. We're going to look at patterns. But this is probably as good as they come. That's why I should mention it here a little bit earlier, but there is a forex patterns kind of that everybody, once again, kind of like the rules that govern what might happen, not necessarily what will be. Right? So when you teach your kids to go on the green light, you're probably still teaching them to look both ways to make sure that the cars are actually stopping for them, right? But technically, right, if he sees the green light, that's his thing to go. But it doesn't mean that it's completely safe. So this right here is what's called a inversed head and shoulder patterns. There's one shoulder, there's a second shoulder, there's there's the head, and there's another shoulder. And when it's actually also really cool that it happened. When it breaks this line right here, it's called the neckline. Oh man, this is like as good as they come. That's why I really wanted to kind of mention this right now. It's still kind of like a support and resistance topic related, so that's why we're still going to be here. But notice, right? So after a bit of a movement, there was a retracement, right? It came to a particular level. Then it went out once more, much bigger movement, came back. There was a retracement. And after, right, when it came back up here, this was a point of interest. This was a point of interest from this pattern. And then we're looking at other indicators, right? On this candle right here, on this candle, we had a parabolic said that it's going to go up. And we had this kind of like a very weird downward movement right here from shaft, right, from here to here. This was a sell signal on this green candle right here, right? There we go. Actually, on the second green candle, let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, on the second green candle, it said that there was a sell signal, but it kept going up, and right around here when it broke through, this was also um, you know, your signal to enter into a position. The interesting part, I kind of want to especially highlight this. I don't know if this is something, once again, not something that's a guarantee, but usually this is something that in Forex, everybody pays a very great deal of attention to because the movement, uh, where'd it go? There we go. The movement of this breakout equals the highest point between the neckline and the head, right? So right now it is actually something that probably not going to happen because of what we see, right? There's a reversal. We've got parabolic that's going to be about to be touched. There could be a bit of a downward movement up to the neckline, but theoretically, we are able to expect a relatively long upward trend with certain pullbacks. Remember, no upward trend is going to be linear. Green, 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 green. There's going to be pullbacks. This is massive movements, as I mentioned, right? So if we look at 17, let's say, I don't know, 1270, I don't know, let's round it up to 75. 1275. Right now, we're looking at 25 plus 36, $360 in a matter of like what time is it right now? In about 35 minutes, you just made 200 some odd dollars. Not a bad freaking income when we're talking about an hourly income. Somebody busts their hump for like $20 an hour. Yeah, that actually is like good money, depending on what country. Listen, my wife is from Russia. She says that essentially medium salary on what people rent, buy food, internet, certain I don't know, certain entertainment, is like $500 a month. A month, $500 a month, specifically, busting their hump for that amount of money, right? And here somebody made it in like half an hour, right? Just by opening, certain support and resistance, finding, this particular movement, and opening. And see, in Forex, it's actually another interesting thing. In Forex, there is no such thing as expiration, right? So that's kind of cool because if you open the position for an upward movement and it starts to go up, it could actually go against you and then continue to go up further later. And maybe in an hour, maybe in two, maybe in three, it reaches your take profit and you close in the money. Right? So it doesn't matter if it has certain pullbacks. Actually, this is where I know some traders that will open long positions or longer position for like an hour for two, or perhaps, they're based on the, analysis of the possible movement. They might open it with Forex, but during retracements, because they're always going to happen, they're opening with binary options for a quick little pullback. They made their 92%, and it continues, and it generates massive profit in a matter of a couple of hours. So the fact is that this particular analysis, right, Forex bearing, Forex instrument kind of tool, when you spot a pattern, you also kind of get an idea what kind of movement to expect from it. We're probably not going to see it by the end of the stream, but you know what? I do encourage you to kind of, once again, maybe monitor this yourself, right? So, pocket option link is below in the videos, in the comments, or in the comments, leave a comment, ask a question. But if you want, you can sign up Two pocket options, a great platform. You're gonna get some depth bonuses immediately if you choose to put some real money in there. There is a demo account, right? I mean, if you click right here on the balance, you see that there's a demo account. You can choose Forex. You can actually choose even a savings account, right? So there's plenty of instruments from cryptocurrencies to commodities and stocks and indices. But most people really they trade on this platform in binaries, making quick money. Though you are able to familiarize yourself with all of this through a demo account. You don't need to, risk your money while you're learning. And of course, if you reach out through the Telegram channel to kind of get some guidance from maybe personalized guidance from me. Also something that, you can test. I don't expect you to trust me. Please do not trust anybody, any blogger out there, because you don't know these people. You don't know their motives. But I'm hoping that based on the logic, math, statistics, that's why we're doing this live instead of recording an opportune moment. That's why we see the losses as well. It's unavoidable, right? You cannot say that, oh, you know what, if I just follow 2, 3, 4 indicators, that's it, I'll be set, I'll be making money every single day. No, you're not. You're going to have losing days, but I will prove to you through, essentially math, that it's not something that's going to be, or should be devastating, or should be, distracting somehow. It's something that's part of this. It's part of this, and I can show you, statistically speaking, that even if you don't trade every single day, even if you have, let's say, out of 25 trading days, you could have like, I don't know, 6, 7 losing days, as long as they're limited losses. And at the end of the month, you're still going to be in such amazing profit that nowhere else in the world in traditional investing will you make that kind of money. That's the beautiful part about it. You can lose a few days, I would say few days, but a couple of days, right? 4, 5, 6, 7 days, and you're still going to make more money on your $1,000 investment if you're just aiming for like 5 to 10% per day off your balance. And what is that, right? It's essentially, it could be around like 12 minutes, 12, 15 minutes if you're opening at every single minute. Or if you get like 4, 5, 6 signals per hour, it might be 2 hours worth of this. But 1,000 becomes $17,500 in 30 days if you're making money every single day. These 10%. But let's be realistic. Sometimes you'll make 7%. Sometimes you'll make 3%. Sometimes you'll make, 25. Right? That's why I'm kind of mentioning that it's like a 10%, but it varies. And if you don't hit 10% every single day, right? What if your 1,000 doesn't become 17 and a half? What if it becomes 8? And that's still freaking awesome, right? It's still a little bit aggressive for my taste, but this is something that's available, right? This is something that you are able to take advantage of. And do notice that what we discussed is still happening, right? So the movement upwards is still going to be going upwards. And in my opinion, there's once again, there's a high, there's a new high, there's a bit of a retracement. There's a new high, there's a bit of a retracement. There's a new high. Now, do I believe that it's actually going to go up to this level? You know what? This is where we can see the probability of this if we look back at a bit longer time period. This was the previous high. And I would believe that with this head and shoulder reversed head and shoulder, or inversed head and shoulder pattern, I would believe that it could go up to, close, maybe not the entire movement, but close to it. Right? That's why we're going to be looking at different time intervals very soon. But look, with 5-minute candles, CCI, right, there was a buy signal here, right, at the second shoulder, starting of the second shoulder, right, there it is. On this candle, there was a buy signal from Shat, and CCI is at the very top. It's touching the 100 level, right, almost touching the 100 level right now, which once again gives me a valid reason to believe that the asset will go up even further, but still with pullbacks. Because even though we're looking at something that's kind of small here, it's actually decent enough movements, as I mentioned, right? 1275, right about here, right? It would be 12, or I'm sorry, 13, 22, 75. So 22 plus 25, right? So what? 47, $470. Somebody's going to be making money from opening here. From this point right here, 80, let's look kind of round it up to 90, 90. So 10 plus about this level, 10 plus 22, 32. $320 is also not so bad, right? Or $300 of profit, somebody opening here, closing it here. It's pretty decent money. When we're talking about the fact that it's been like over the past half hour. Anyways, all right, let's see. I really wish that some of you guys would leave comments in the live chat. Always encouraged because, as I mentioned, I can't really cover everything of interest if I don't know what interest is from your perspective, from your end. And I want to have this opportunity to talk to you one on one. Henry and Donald are actually my bros already. You guys are, my door is open for to come and visit me if you guys ever do that. I do want to do that, but ask questions. I want to have an opportunity to clarify based on logic, math, statistics, something to bring you the truth, right? I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. Yes, this is if you think about traditional investing, right? Government bonds, just barely above inflation. If your inflation is like 3%, it's going to give you like government bond, maybe like 3.2% or something. It's going to be ridiculously small. This is not where you make money. This is where you preserve the buying power. So if you have 100 million, you'll probably put like 50, 60 million into a government bond to make sure that your money has the buying power. It's not there to make money. It's just there to keep your ability to buy the same amount, right? $1,000 today, let's say that it's going to buy you 1,000 $1 candy bars, right? But next year, inflation is going to rise and each candy bar is going to cost $1.02. Not something that's drastic. It's not something that's going to, oh my God, it's it, I'm off sugar for life. But if your $1,000 was in a mattress, right? If you didn't invest it, you're no longer going to buy 1,000 candy bars. You might buy like 990, I don't know, eight, whatever. And this is something that is the government bond. Right. The next step up would probably be from traditional investing. It's like stock market. Right, 6 to 10% if you're like really savvy, like Warren Buffett, maybe like 12, 13 or something. The man is worth $177 billion or around there. I mean, I'm not really following him every day, but him and his company, Berkshire Hathaway, are worth billions. All right, he's a very specific kind of man. I read his book. I gotta say, he's a bit of a cheapskate. In his book, he kind of mentioned that he goes to Burger King when he has a coupon, right? I'm thinking, man, you can buy the whole chain of Burger Kings and like put them in your house. But anyways, it's hard to argue with the results. All right, 6 to 10%. He's the kind of investor that buys stocks, becomes part owner of a company that produces something. Right. So basically, if you I don't know. I think he mentioned it, or so somewhere I came across cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. If I buy out all of the Bitcoin in the world, let's just theoretically assume that I have that much money. How do I make money with this? I make money only when I sell it. Right? It doesn't produce anything. Bitcoin doesn't create anything. It's just there as a convenient form of moving money, but it's not really creating anything. So in order for me to make money, if I buy out all of it, there has to be enough demand for it where I can sell it at a higher price and make profit. Right? Supply and demand principles at work again. But if you invest into buying, a particular packet of, or, shares, amount of shares of a company that has a factory, you're actually part owner of a company that produces cars, maybe, or furniture, or, I don't know, home appliances, right? Something that people can't live without. Or at least they can live without, but maybe making our lives much easier. So this is where, once again, 177 billion. Yes, you can make money, but it's this is the kind of place where you need money to make money, right? You invest $1,000 and you get like 6%. I mean, that's like barely a Burger King meal, right? If you're talking about Burger King, uh, but if you invest like 100 million, into something, and you get that 6-10%, and then it carries over into the following year. So it's compounding kind of like growth, right? So it takes money to make money. Your $1,000 at the end of the year is not gonna, force you to go to the roof and scream, oh, McDonald's, woohoo, or Apple or something. But it is the next, higher profitability with regards to the government bonds. It's a bit higher. What's afterwards? And you can actually go through this, real estate, cryptocurrencies and stuff. This, with binaries, it's massive profit, 92% in a matter of like 5 seconds you can get it. Right? This is crazy. And as I mentioned, this is like light years ahead of traditional investing. That's why it does carry with it, a certain amount of risk. But, what doesn't? Every, even government bonds, which is considered the safest investment because the governments can print money. So the government says, hey, I'll give you back $1,000 if you give me $100. Yeah, they can do that. They'll print the crap load of money and they'll return their debt. The problem is that if they print money, they devalue the currency, right? And this is not something that's a good thing, right? You can still lose money if that's something that happens. Quantitative easing, when it happens, the value of your currency diminishes on international level, but within the country, it could actually still be quite, valid, or, at that point. Anyways, lots of talking. All right, so we saw something like a great thing over here, my dear friends. A very nice reverse head and shoulder pattern. There was a movement, a serious pullback. Actually, look at that. I might actually be worried that it's not even going to reach the level that we talked about. The highest point right about here. That this was the top, right? It reached the previous maybe high. Yeah, I don't know. All right, so it broke through. It kind of hovered around this level right here for a bit. It broke through to the next one, right? So it kind of came up from this to here, hovered a bit, tested it. And, well, there is a bit of a retracement. So as I mentioned, this is not always, by the book, because once again, this is on Forex. This Forex usually would be traded in the real market. But in this case, we're trading binaries, and our clients in the OTC might not really be aware of such patterns. So that's why I always say there are rules, but, look both ways before you cross the street on the green, just in case somebody's not familiar with the rules and something else like this happens. All right, my dear friends, thank you so much for sharing some of your time with me. Morpheus in the house. I'm going to be continuing to do exactly what we do here, giving you the red pill, the truth about everything without coloring any pretty pictures, right, without any kind of hype. No, I don't have a private jet or a yacht or something like that, but I can fly anywhere I want, first class. I can rent a boat sometimes when I do go to the seas. I do prefer mountains and forest over the seas, but because usually seas are crowded, I do enjoy my privacy. Anyways, door is open. Telegram channel, please hit me up. Subscribe to, maybe like the video, subscribe, comment, please. I want to make sure that I answer any of your questions. Not just binary. I know Forex, I know crypto, I know traditional investing. This is something that we can talk money. We can talk about money overall. So hit me up in Telegram channel, leave some comments, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.